Fire on the mountain, the showdown on Mount Carmel with the prophets of Baal. 1 Kings 18. The story of Elijah on Mount Carmel unfolds during a time of deep crisis in Israel. The nation had been suffering through a long, bitter drought for 3 years, a consequence, the Bible tells us, of their spiritual drought, resulting from their disobedience and idolatry. Under the influence of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, the people had turned away from God and begun worshipping Baal, a Canaanite god. Amid this rebellion, the prophet Elijah confronts King Ahab, challenging him to gather the people and the 450 prophets of Baal at Mount Carmel to prove the supremacy of Yahweh over Baal. The contest: who is God? The challenge was simple. Each side would prepare a sacrifice. They will each call upon their God to send fire from heaven. The God who answers with fire will be known as the true God. The prophets of Baal went first. Invoking their God from morning until noon, they shouted and danced, calling on their God, but nothing happened. Elijah watched and eventually began to mock them. Maybe your God is busy. Maybe he's asleep. Shout louder. Desperate, they start cutting themselves, a ritual they believed would show their devotion and provoke a response. Still, their cries remained unanswered. When Elijah's turn came, he rebuilt the altar of the Lord with 12 stones, symbolizing the 12 tribes of Israel, to remind the people who they truly are. He placed the wood and the offering on the altar, and then, to make sure no one could claim it was a trick, he asked the people to pour water over everything, not once, but 3 times, until the trench around the altar was overflowing. Then Elijah prayed to God, beseeching him to reveal his divinity and turn the hearts of the people back to himself. Lord, let them know that you are God and that you are calling them back to you. The response was immediate and overwhelming, as a consuming fire from heaven fell not only on the offering and the wood, but also consumed the stones and evaporated the water in the trench. The people who witnessed this undeniable demonstration of divine power fell on their faces and proclaimed, "The Lord, He is God." Revelation and meaning. 1. The authority of God. Elijah's victory on Mount Carmel wasn't only a spectacle, it was a pivotal event that reinforced God's authority over Israel. Elijah's confrontation exposes the emptiness of idolatry and reasserts God's absolute dominion over Israel's spiritual destiny. The people had been straddling the fence, uncertain of their loyalties. Elijah's question is piercing. How long will you waver between 2 opinions? 1 Kings 18:21. The silence from Baal's prophets becomes a mirror, reflecting the spiritual emptiness of idolatry. The display of God's fire, by contrast, reawakens the people's memory of who truly holds power over creation, covenant, and destiny. This moment strips away the illusion of neutrality. The people must make a choice. Either Yahweh is God, or He isn't. Elijah's victory restored clarity to a people lost in spiritual confusion. 2. A revelation of divine power. The fire from heaven was not a magic trick. It was a manifestation of God's active, responsive presence. It was a demonstration that Yahweh is not distant or passive. While Baal, a supposed storm and fertility god, fails to bring even a spark, the Lord answers immediately and overwhelmingly. This contrast reveals a theology of divine involvement. God is not only sovereign, but also involved. He is present and intimately engaged with His people. Moreover, the all-consuming nature of the fire, devouring sacrifice, wood, stones, soil, and water, symbolizes the totality of God's holiness and authority. It is a visceral reminder that when God moves, nothing remains untouched. 3. Elijah as a model of prophetic courage. Elijah's role is remarkable. He stands alone against 450 prophets and a corrupt monarchy. Yet, his confidence is not rooted in his charisma. It is grounded in his intimacy with God's faithfulness. His prayer is short and sincere, absent of theatrics, in stark contrast to the frenzied efforts of Baal's prophet. This simplicity reflects the essence of true faith in the God who sees, hears, and acts. Elijah's actions, rebuilding the altar using 12 stones and calling down fire, model prophetic leadership that models restoration, reminding the people who they are and to whom they belong. 4. God's power to call hearts. The most important outcome of this event is not just the defeat of Baal's prophet, but the turning of hearts. The people fell on their faces and proclaimed, "The Lord is God." This communal repentance is the fruit of divine intervention. God's power is not displayed for intimidation, but for invitation. The miracle is meant to draw people back into covenant, to rekindle a lost relationship. This tells us something crucial. God's power is not for performance, it is for redemption. And one faithful voice, surrendered to God's will, can spark national transformation. At the aftermath, the threat of Jezebel. Elijah's victory on Mount Carmel was climactic, but it did not bring peace. No sooner had the fire fallen and the prophets of Baal been executed than word of Elijah's triumph reached Queen Jezebel. Enraged by the public humiliation and destruction of her religious order, she sent Elijah a chilling message. "By this time tomorrow, you will be dead." This event revealed an important truth. Spiritual victories do not eliminate spiritual or physical battles. In fact, they often provoke new ones. Elijah had just witnessed a supernatural display of God's power, yet he was suddenly overtaken by fear and fled into the wilderness. His collapse reminds us that even the most courageous leaders, even after profound encounters with God, remain vulnerable. Human fragility does not vanish in the wake of divine power. It sometimes intensifies. Jezebel's threat was not merely personal. It was deeply spiritual and political. As the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, she imported the worship of Baal and Asherah into Israel and fiercely promoted it. Her influence not only normalized idolatry, but also actively suppressed the worship of Yahweh, leading to the persecution of his prophet. In this sense, Jezebel embodied more than a queen. She symbolized an enduring force of manipulation, intimidation, and spiritual seduction. Her immediate response to Elijah's victory underscores a pattern seen throughout history. Whenever truth confronts entrenched power, retaliation often follows. Jezebel's resolve to silence Elijah highlights how spiritual opposition can become deeply personal and dangerously relentless. More than a historic figure, Jezebel represents the ongoing reality of spiritual manipulation in leadership. Her use of fear, political control, and distorted religion illustrates the dangers that arise when power is used to undermine faith. In every age, there are Jezebel-like forces, systems, or individuals that seek to silence prophetic voices and reshape truth for personal or ideological gain. In the face of such threats, Elijah's reaction was deeply human. His fear did not negate his faith, but revealed the cost of prophetic courage. The wilderness he fled to will become, once again, a place of encounter. But in this moment, we clearly see, even after the fire falls, the battle for faith continues. And sometimes, it grows more fierce and more intimate. Modern parallels the Nigerian contest. In a contemporary context, particularly within Nigeria, the story of Jezebel finds practical resonance in various ways. 1. Religious extremism. Nigeria has faced issues of religious tensions and extremism Just as Jezebel sought to silence opposing religious voices, certain extremist groups aim to instill fear and suppress diverse religious expressions through threats and violence. 2. Corruption and abuse of power. The misuse of power in Nigeria can be likened to Jezebel's manipulation. Corruption among leaders who use their influence to manipulate opposition or promote self-serving agenda echoes Jezebel's oppressive role. 3. Mental health and personal vulnerability. Elijah's despair after his greatest victory mirrors the struggles of those facing emotional burnout or anxiety, especially in times of national crisis. 4. Community resilience and faith. Despite the threat, the story also teaches resilience. Many Nigerian communities, like Israel, have shown tremendous perseverance in the face of adversity, drawing on faith and communal support to withstand spiritual, social, and political challenges. You've just listened to Chapter 1 of Knowing When to Run by Father Onyinye Chukwedo. This recording was brought to you by Onyis Media.